So let's talk about gut health. It's not only would you how do you
gut.
Let's not waste time introducing this one. What is the gut health? Some would tell you, doctors will tell you that it's important to maintain a healthy digestive system or gut. That's just an idea. What's the full story? Let's welcome Bukola Agunbiade, who is a pharmacist and lifestyle doctor. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. We joked earlier, I don't know if you were in at the time, that if you add TER to gut, the answer is not going to sound nice in the ear.
Yeah.
Oh, even you are looking at it.
If you don't look after your gut, it will become like...
Don't say it. Don't say it. Gut with the TER. You know. So help us understand, what does the gut itself, what does it mean? Because, you know, the most that people know about gut is, I have a gut feeling. I feel it in my guts. Is it the same?
It's connected. It's connected, yes. The gut is basically the gastrointestinal tract and is directly connected to the brain. That's why we have gut feeling. That's why we have butterflies in our stomach.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree. Where does it start? Where does it end? You're saying it's connected to the brain.
The gastrointestinal tract starts from the mouth to the stomach, to the colons, then to the rectum. Ends in the rectum.
From here?
Yes, mouth to the rectum, yes.
It's a long trip.
Yes, it's a long trip. Yes.
But it also has a connection. How does it connect with the brain?
It's connected to the brain via the vagus nerve. And is actually, in fact, the gut is called the second brain. Yes, because you have a lot of nerves around that area. Is connected to the brain directly.
That's why it is important that we look after it,
yes.
right?
I'm asking her, is it like the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, that if there is traffic, it's going to be a problem? Are you looking at that?
Please don't mention Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Please. The gut. Yes, tell us. So, it's a long journey from your mouth to your rectum.
To the rectum, yes.
So, how do you look after an organ that starts here and ends up here, making this journey through your entire body, more or less? Remove your legs.
I think it starts from the oral health. The oral dentisticians, they have one slogan. They always say, oral health, gateway to good health. It starts from the mouth. You have to keep a good oral hygiene, brush twice in a day, or make sure you gargle your mouth after some certain meals. Do scaling and polishing once in a year. Visit your dentist to do your dental checkups once in a year. Try and make sure you don't have issues at the oral health. Then it also has to do with stress. You need to reduce stress, because if you don't manage your stress, stress increases cortisol production, which will reduce the flow of blood and oxygen to the GIT. Reduces prostaglandins. Yes, to the GIT, the tract. It reduces the blood flow to this area. Because you can't be running for lion and your body is doing digestion. It's not possible. The energy will go to your limbs to make sure you escape. So the blood flow that goes to the GIT will be reduced, which will reduce the prostaglandins, reduce the mucus production that protects the bowel. So stress is also an important factor that you need to look at. And then we also have one lifestyle of taking antibiotics indiscriminately in this part of the world. Like, I have diarrhea, or I'm having running stomach. You don't even know if it's caused by an infection. The next thing you are looking for, Flagy and tetracycline. I don't know who gave us that formula. But it's something that messes up the gut because they are using antibiotics indiscriminately. So it kills the good bacteria, gives the bad bacteria a free day to live.
Is that all?
No, there are other things. There's
No.
also the age,
It's
there's also the
mouth.
food, reduce smoking, reduce drinking of alcohol, consumption of alcohol, and so many other things.
Okay, now the question I want to ask along that line, is how many organs are connected in the gut system, in the gastrointestinal tract that you've talked about? You've talked about the mouth,
Yeah, the mouth,
and then you've talked about other things that we need to pay attention to. You didn't tell us about...
The esophagus is also part of it, but that's basically a passage most times. Nothing really happens at the esophagus. It's just a passage.
How about the people who have this thing?
Goiter.
No. You usually have, I don't know the English word that you use, when something is paining you in your throat.
Tonsillitis.
Whatever that English
No,
word
that's another thing. That's an upper respiratory tract infection.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's another
but
thing.
It disturbs swallowing sometimes.
Yes, it disturbs swallowing, and of course, there could be some secretion of some unwanted chemicals at that part, which can affect whatever you are swallowing.
Okay.
Yes, and there's also the stomach where the gastric acid is being produced.
Which is like the dustbin that's everything.
No, it's not the dustbin.
Okay.
That's the factory.
Oh, the factory.
Where the processing of the food takes place.
Okay.
This is where you have the gastric acid, which digests the food. Then along the colon, that is where you have the bacteria, the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. We actually, we have something we call the good gut health, which is when you have a balance between the good microbiomes and the bad microbiomes. So that is also very important. The two organisms are there, but depending on what you are eating, depending on what you expose yourself to, is what will determine which one takes precedence and is able to function.
Doc, you mentioned antibiotics. I've also heard the word probiotics. What are those?
Probiotics basically are the good bacteria. You have some products that are probiotics, that when you take them, the probiotics contain the good bacteria. So when you take them, you are increasing the population of the good bacteria.
Okay.
And reducing the chances of the bad ones.
Of the bad ones taking precedence.
Reducing your chance of requiring treatment with antibiotics.
With antibiotics, yes. Because when you have the bad microbiomes taking precedence, then of course you're exposing yourself to a lot of, your GIT becomes more permeable. It increases inflammation in your system and so many things, low immune response and
it sounds to me like you are covertly giving us a warning. Don't just go and start swallowing all the probiotics you can get.
No, definitely. Definitely.
Some people will hear that and say, probiotics is good for my health.
The best way to get probiotics is not just in a product. You can get it in the daily foods, the food we eat.
Okay.
We have some food that have probiotic.
Such as
Our fufu.
Okay.
Yogurt.
Those are the natural ones.
Yes, those are the natural ones.
Fufu.
Fermented foods, yes.
Fufu is
Yogurt.
probiotic. No, wait, I'm coming. Fufu?
Yes.
Is it the smelly one or the non-smelly one? Okay, don't answer that question.
I think that has to do with the production.
Don't answer that one, because when you mention
as long as it is fufu. If you like, take the smelly one. If you like, take the one that doesn't smell.
Okay, so what role then do vegetables play in this probiotic or microbiotics space?
The vegetables and fruits are fibers.
Okay.
Fibers are the fuel for the good microbiomes.
Okay.
They are the fuel that would encourage the good bacteria to exist, to be able to function. So fibers are very important in our diet. Okay. They are the fuel for the good bacteria.
Let's talk about that stomach. Okay, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. How do we risk the gut health? You don't really keep much in the mouth, right?
Yes.
You don't keep much, if anything at all, in the esophagus. The receptacle is the stomach,
yes,
then the small intestine, then the large intestines, right? I don't know, are those all the bus stops that this food has to go through?
Yes, those are basically the main bus stops.
Okay, so tell us how we take care of those bus stops?
The first thing is to reduce stress. Reduce stress as much as
This
you
word
can.
again.
Yes.
Stress.
Madam.
Yes, it's a basic thing. You
Madam,
can't-
me give you 3 cities. Lagos, New York, Bombay, in India. Add Shanghai. Okay, let's stay in Nigeria. Port Harcourt, Abuja, Kano City. Those areas that I have mentioned, the synonym for each one of them is stress. How do you reduce stress in a stressful city?
And you have stress coping mechanisms. I think we discussed it the last time I was here.
Yes, we do.
No, let's remember. Sorry, let's
Remember
remind ourselves
ourselves.
again. Because this morning, those people, I mean, she was telling us about a colleague who wanted to go to Ibadan from Lagos, spend the first 2 hours to get to Kara.
Yeah.
And that's just her. This morning, we would have spent 4, if not for divine intervention.
Well, I think that has been a major question from even the last time I spoke about it. A lot of people reached out to me, and I think the solution is what sinks a ship, or the simple way to say it is what sinks a ship is not the water it floats on, is the water that seeps into the ship. So it's not about the stressful situation you are going through. It is how well you are in charge of your mind that you don't react to the stress.
How you are coping with it, how you react.
You cope well with it. You are in traffic, you don't need to fret, though you are getting late, but you can listen to music, you can make yourself happy.
Even the way you are smiling.
You can't listen to music when it's 8:30, your live program is at
9 o'clock.
and you are still at the toll gate.
But the truth
There's
is,
no way you can listen to music
fly
and relax.
You cannot fly. So the best you can do, be sipping your water, accept it, and enjoy the ride.
Okay. So that's the first thing, to manage stress. But then there are other things. The food is in the stomach.
The fiber your consumption is really, really important. Increase your fiber intake.
Please give us examples of this fiber. Some people believe that pounded yam is fiber.
Yeah, pounded yam has a bit of fiber. If it's the pounded yam, not the processed yam flour.
Don't let them come after you.
That's why I said processed. I'm not mentioning any brand. Processed yam flour. Some of these fibers will have been tampered with. So if it's the pounded yam, yes, that has a bit of fiber. But when you're taking your pounded yam, that's why, yes, it has a bit. That's why when you're taking your pounded yam, most times you take it with vegetables.
Not ogbono like me, I like. Okay, so, but how do you clean the gut? How do you clean it in the event that that becomes necessary?
I don't think you really need to clean the gut. There are a lot of products out there claiming to clean the gut and all of that. I don't think it's necessary. It's a self-cleaning mechanism. It's a self-cleaning organ on its own. Just increase your fiber intake. Increase the intake of fruits and vegetables, and it will clean itself.
Okay, that's from the stomach.
Yes.
How about the small intestine and large intestine?
Anything that enters the stomach will...
Calm down now. There are some people, after eating whatever, for days, they are unable to turn the bowel. Days.
Yes.
What happens?
And people like that, they have reduced GIT motility.
All this English stuff.
It's just movements, GIT movements. Their metabolism is low, so the motility is low. But one thing you can be sure of is if you increase your fiber intake, it would speed up the GIT motility. And of course, they will be able to visit the loo more frequently.
Now, some people have halitosis, and sometimes doctors say it's from the gut. Why does a smelly mouth come from the gut?
The mouth is connected to the gut. It's part of the gut.
Yeah, so what causes it? What makes the mouth smell
Is that, or
that
is
is
that,
arising from the gut?
is that
What
different
has
from
happened to
mouth
that
odor?
gut?
Halitosis from the gut has to do with the bad bacteria. If you have a very high population of the bad microbiome, then of course it will result into smell that will spill out through the mouth, definitely.
So what can one do about it?
Just increase your fiber intake.
Because it is not nice for you to open your mouth to speak and people are moving back, you know.
Just increase your fiber intake, then maybe the person needs to, sometimes you might need to investigate further. You might need to do some, sometimes we do checks. We do, what do we call it? I've forgotten. There's a diagnosis. When I remember, I will tell you. We do it to check the population of these different microbiome. Okay, stool analysis, yes. Stool analysis to check the population of the microbiomes. So you know what antibiotics to use or what probiotic or what prebiotic to use to balance this gut microbiome.
Please.
To
You said
reduce this one.
prebiotic.
Yes, we have prebiotics, we have probiotics.
What's the difference? Okay, we'll come to that another day.
Anti, pro, pre.
So let's talk about that, smell again. You've talked about the one that comes from the mouth. How about flatulence? If you don't know the meaning of flatulence, please Google it as spelt. Flatulence. I'm not going to use my mouth to say it in Yoruba. Please go ahead.
Iso?
How does... Well, what she said. How does it factor into this whole gut health thing?
It's the same thing. They are just the mouth and whatever, the flatulence coming out of the rectum, they are just exit points. It's the same thing. It shows us what is happening in between the tracts. So the same thing that is causing the halitosis is the same thing that can cause really smelly flatulence.
So essentially you are saying that a really smelly... No, because there is good smell, there is bad smell. Especially...
There's no good...
There's no good smelly... Okay. So essentially you are saying that flatulence, the smell of the flatulence is a sign
Yes.
of the gut health.
Of the gut health, yes.
Let me say that again. Okay, say
Some
it
don't
yourself.
smell.
Exactly.
Yes.
So when there's no smell, what does that indicate?
It means the person is fine, or maybe there's just an entrapment of gas.
Oh, okay.
Maybe from the way you are eating. Some people eat with their mouth open, just chew and all of that, so they are able to take in a lot of gas or something.
Okay.
So maybe the gas is just finding a way to get out. But some are from the high population of the bad microbiome.
Okay.
So just manifesting in the
So
flatulence.
those are the ones that really spoil the air
Yes.
in the room. Now, in that case, what does your viewer do who has a really bad flatulence, which according to you is a sign of bad gut health?
Reduce stress, drink a lot of water, increase fiber intake. If the person smokes or takes alcohol, reduce all of those.
What's the consequence of bad gut health?
Wow. Like I said, the gut is connected to the brain.
You
The
say the person
connection
is having mental disorder.
It can affect, of course, it will lead to digestive issues. The person can have constipation, can have diarrhea, can have gas, entrapment, and all of that. The immunity will be low.
Oh.
Yes, because the gut is where the food we eat is converted into nutrients that the body makes use of. So when we have issues along that area, that means the absorption of nutrients will be low.
Does it have anything to do with the liver, the kidney, and all those things?
Of course, when nutrients are not properly absorbed, those ones, all the organs will not get the nutrients they need to function. So it affects almost everything. In fact, it leads to anxiety, it leads to depression, it leads to...
Depression?
Yes, a bad gut health leads to depression, leads to anxiety. The immunity is low. You have inflammatory responses, which can spiral into so many things. Obesity increases your chances of cardiovascular health issues, increases your chances of diabetes, and a whole lot.
My God.
Now you know that you have a very powerful engine in your body. Unfortunately, I don't know how you can. Well, her name, you'll find it on the screen. You can Google the name, and if you want, you might find a way to reach her. After this interview, because I'm pretty sure that a number of people are curious. We really just have to thank you for, as Alera would say, coming to spoil our morning as usual. Bukola Agunbiade is a pharmacist and lifestyle doctor. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So start cleaning your gut. We'll be right back after now with the home stretch. Stay with us.
That has made you sober.